YouTube, what's going on? Andrew Darling here, Mr. Darling 4. This is my full review of the 2015 Motorola G. The 2015 Motorola G starts with a really cool boot screen, so we'll start there. The screen itself is a 5-inch 720p display. It does a pretty good job of replicating color, but it is not super great outdoors in any sort of bright lighting. The screen size is something that makes the phone more usable, and that would be probably the ideal screen size for a flagship phone if a company would go ahead and just make that. Having a 2400 milliamp hour battery gave me over 4 hours of screen on time, and it generally didn't matter if I used it over a 9-hour period or 18-hour period. I was going to get between 4 and 4.5 hours of screen on time. So Motorola's continued to optimize their software for this mid-grade hardware. What they've done is they've went ahead and managed to put Android 5.1.1 on a sub $230 phone. So the phone does come in two options: 8 gigabytes of storage and 1 gigabyte of RAM for $179, or you can get the version I have here, which is 16 gigabytes of RAM. 16 gigabytes of storage, 2 gigabytes of RAM with micro SD card support. So the volume rockers and the power button are extra mushy. They're just really not very good buttons. Other than that, I didn't have too many issues with the phone. The problem with the buttons is that the screen actually chamfers down to a peak, and at that peak, the phone actually rolls to the back of the device. If I had to compare it to something, it'd be similar to the Galaxy Nexus. I grabbed one, and like I said, it's been sort of anticlimactic. So from what I've been able to use it for, I got decent battery life. The camera's pretty impressive for the price that you're going to see, and we'll go ahead and go into the camera now, and we'll talk a little bit more about the device as we go. The camera application for Motorola is pretty simple, so we'll keep it here in a nice landscape mode. And here are some of your options. You can take video. You can of course change it to a selfie cam, and over here is your slide out menu. So this is your slide out menu for all your options in the camera. It spins like this. You have the shake to open it motion, and there's your camera application. So back to the settings menu here. If you go all the way down to the bottom and you keep spinning, that's what that gesture is for. Here's for it to make noises, to turn on location if you want it to save to the memory card. And then you also have the stuff here, timer, change the different aspect here, so you can put it on widescreen or standard. You have video, of course, and then low light. It's going to let in a little bit more light. I'm going to turn that off. So taking a picture is simple. You just press the screen, it takes a picture. Now if you want to focus on something, you simply click here on this auto touch to focus thing here. It says control focus and exposure. And then you press on that specifically. Whereas if you press over here, oh, that's taking a picture. You drag and slide. Now it's focused over there. Drag and slide it back. Now it's back on the control. Pretty simple, pretty easy camera layout. For a phone of this price point, it's actually a pretty solid experience. So for the budget price with the Moto G, what do you really get? So you get decent hardware, solidly mid-grade hardware, a newer camera. Like I said, this is the same module that comes in the Nexus 6, pretty slimmed down stock Android software, and a really decent price tag. That's what you get. The newness of the phone is going to wear off really quickly if you're used to flagships, if you're used to, Galaxy S6s and G4s and even OnePlus Ones. The feel of the phone is going to wear on you really quick. Like I mentioned, the buttons here are rather mushy. They don't have a great feel to them. You do have a little bit of the ridges here on the power button versus the smooth volume slider. You get one front-facing speaker here at the bottom. Overall, the customization of it is pretty cool. It's another thing. It goes back to even as far back as those Nokia faceplates we all used to have on the 5120 and 5160. So being able to customize your phone is a big deal. Being able to pull the back plate off and replace it with something else is a big deal. But for the budget, for the price that you're getting it, the flagship user, users like myself and probably most of you, this phone's not going to be for you. But for somebody like my wife who uses her phone basically for social media and texting, great for her. For some senior citizens who are getting into the smartphone game and they're trying to learn what they can do, great for them. Battery life for me has been mostly solid. I'm getting 4 to 4.5 hours of screen on time, and that's something that you'd expect from a mid-grade phone, a mid-range phone. That's actually pretty decent. And from a flagship phone, for our flagship phones nowadays, that's pretty decent as well. So that's my review. That's my thoughts of the Moto G. Let me know in the comments below. I have some super cool news that I'll be announcing tomorrow, as well as the launch of a new YouTube channel. It's going to be more of a vlog style YouTube channel, and it's going to talk about my experience in... You'll have to look and see tomorrow. So that's been the 2015 Motorola G. I appreciate it, YouTube. Thank you guys so much for your time, and we'll talk to you again very soon. Take care.